Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Cozy Rainbow Podcast. My name is Tammy, but my students know me as Miss Tammy.
My name is Joe, and I've been on one plane in my life.
Yes, and on today's episode, we are talking about the principles of flight.
I mean, I'd play it up and be like, oh, I'm scared for this one, but no, I'm not.
You feel confident?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Great. I think you'll do okay on these. If not getting them all right. If not showing me up by telling me that I got one wrong. Okay, here we go. Number 1. What are the 4 principles of flight? Is it A, drag, thrust, gravity, and lift?
That
B,
one sounds right, but I'll...
speed, velocity, lift, and descent. C, rise, fall, forward, and back. Or D, Bernoulli, Wright, Earhart, and Montgolfier. Montgolfier?
You know, I only... that last one's a list of famous aviators, but I only recognized Earhart. Which, you know... Let's go, girls.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Anyway.
And also, Joe, let me point out, by interrupting me,
Yeah.
you were ignoring a test-taking strategy. You got to listen to all the answers first.
I was making a mental note.
Okay.
A verbal note.
Yeah.
For myself.
A mental and verbal note.
That one sounded very correct, and that I should refer back to that one if all the other ones felt bad. So, anyway, it's A.
Okay. Number 2. Which invention came first? Is it A, the airplane, B, a helicopter, C, the hot air balloon, or D, a glider?
It's right. It's between hot air balloons and gliders. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Does a kite count as a
stumped him.
Does a kite count as a glider? Actually, no. With that said, I'm gonna swing gliders, regardless of whether or not you say kites or gliders.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say no, for the purposes of if we're talking about flight, because kites they're still attached to the ground.
Actually,
but they do glide.
Okay,
So-
no, I'm reconsidering it for a second time.
Oh no, I shouldn't have answered. I should have just moved on.
Because
In fact, let's just move on.
you know what? Final answer: hot air balloons.
Oh, okay. What changed your mind? Is it because I answered your question? I shouldn't have
No,
answered
because
it.
I reconsidered because I felt like kites might be a thing because Japan likes kites, and or Japan, China. I don't know. Somewhere in Southeast Asia quite likes kites, and I was like, you know what, that could probably lead to, like, pretty quickly to actual, like, people carrying gliders, but at the same time,
Like on Aang. I mean, Aang. Got Avatar, The Last Airbender. He has the glider.
yeah, but at the same time, like, that part of the world kind of stopped trading with the rest of the world for a while and kind of fell behind a bit.
Oh my gosh, this is a lot of
and
background knowledge to just make a simple guess
so
about
you know what?
hot air
Okay,
balloons.
you know what? Forget it. For the last time, I'm going back to gliders.
Oh, you-
Actually, just because there's no fire and hot air and whatever involved. It's like
It's more
just
simple,
light
yeah.
and a piece of paper. You know, it's fine. It's a glider. Why not?
All right, sure. And number 3. True or false? Air is a fluid.
By what definition? It's true. Probably. I'm pretty sure it's true. This seems like an episode about physics, so I want to say it's true. So I'm gonna say it's true.
Okay, great. That's a hard one. You raised some good points there, and I'm sure we'll get into them right after this quick break.
No, wait, hang on. No, my physics teacher very specifically said, no, air is actually a fluid, a Newtonian fluid.
What? What is a Newtonian fluid? You probably don't remember considering how you
I
were
don't
guessing
really, but
on air being a fluid. We're not going to go that in depth. But listeners, if you're interested, maybe write in. Joe will do an episode on Newtonian fluids.
I don't know. It's a definition. Like, you look it up in the glossary of your physics textbook. It's not.
Okay. Joe, have you ever looked up at the sky, marveling at the sight of a massive airplane flying effortlessly through the air?
What are you talking about? They're not that big. They're tiny in the air.
The secret behind this awe-inspiring feat lies within the fascinating world of the principles of flight, a captivating exploration into science that enables aviation to take flight.
That's what aviation means, no?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Okay. Welcome as we explore the basics of flight, from the four main forces that make it possible to the cool aerodynamics that keep planes up in the sky. Whether you dream of becoming a pilot or are simply curious about the mechanics of flight, join us as we delve into the captivating world of aviation. The science of flight is known as aerodynamics. At its core are four primary aerodynamic forces that act upon an aircraft in flight: drag, thrust, gravity also known as weight, and lift. Congrats. You got them, Joe.
See, I didn't read that one in my physics textbook. I read that in a paper airplane book.
Oh, that's a fun way to learn, I guess. Okay. As an airplane takes to the skies, it encounters resistance from the air known as drag. To counter this force and maintain forward motion, the airplane relies on the force of thrust generated by its engines or propellers. So I found this whole thing kind of hard to understand until I looked at a picture.
Yeah. So, dear listener, please look at a picture.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll put a picture up of a diagram of what this looks like at our website, cozyrainbow.org. But basically, those four things, the drag, thrust, gravity, and lift, they're four different directions that the airplane can travel in. So the thrust is forward and the lift is upwards, gravity is down, and then drag is back. Like you're getting dragged behind. Okay, so the forwards and backwards, you got your drag, you got your thrust, and then we have lift, which is defying gravity. Lift versus gravity, up versus down. Despite being heavier than the air, an airplane defies the pull of gravity through the application of lift. This force is brought to life by the design of the airplane's wings. With a curved upper surface and a flat lower surface, the wings manipulate airflow to create a change in air pressure. As the air beneath the wing pushes upward with greater force than the air above, lift is generated and propels the aircraft skyward. Moreover, by adjusting flaps and slats, pilots can fine-tune the amount of lift to facilitate takeoff and landing maneuvers.
What do you mean slats? Like, I know what a flap is, but what is a slat?
Like the same thing. I mean, listen, I'm not a builder, but yeah, here's some fun facts. So, did you know that an airplane takes off most effectively when it's facing the wind? So that seems like it would be the opposite, right? You think it would need the wind to boost, but no. The headwind increases the speed of airflow over the wings, enhancing lift. And second fun fact, pilots employ various maneuvers such as changing altitude and altering the angle of attack to navigate through different air currents and weather conditions. So there's a lot to being a pilot.
That's scary.
Yeah, I mean,
when you're driving down the road and the wind's kind of heavy, you can already feel it kind of pushing you in a direction. Now, can you imagine not being on the ground? Not having tires to even try and hold you into going one direction. You're just in the air.
Yeah, designed in a vehicle that is meant specifically to navigate the air. A car, obviously, if you're thinking about being in a car and you're getting blown around by the wind, that's not a great situation because the cars are meant for the road. But airplane meant for sky.
You know, this makes me very secure in flying an airplane, but significantly more scared of cars.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Daniel Bernoulli. Daniel Bernoulli was a smart scientist.
As opposed to a dumb scientist.
From Switzerland in the 18th century. He studied fluid dynamics.
Right.
His ideas helped us understand how air and other fluids work with things.
Right.
Fluids?
So a fluid is a substance without a fixed shape. Like a solid, you know? Like a brick is a solid, it has a fixed shape. You can't really
like ice.
You can't bend it or whatever, as opposed to water or air, which you can put into a container and
they're fluid.
Becomes the shape of that container technically.
Is slime a fluid?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So one thing that Daniel Bernoulli discovered is called Bernoulli's principle, and it's a big deal in figuring out how airplanes fly. Bernoulli's principle is a fundamental tenet of fluid dynamics that explores the relationship between pressure and velocity within a fluid. And yes, air is a fluid. Yet, the significance of this principle extends far beyond the confines of laboratories and textbooks, and it heavily influences the world of aviation. When the gentle currents of air glide over the contours of an airplane's wing, the airflow ensues. As Bernoulli's principle dictates, the airstream above the wing's arch surface experiences an acceleration in velocity, accompanied by a corresponding decrease in air pressure. This phenomenon creates a contrast in pressure between the upper and lower surfaces of the wing, giving rise to an uplifting force that we know as lift.
Uplifting. I like that.
How uplifting, yeah. It's pretty interesting and inspiring to contemplate.
Uplifting, you might say.
Yeah, it's uplifting, you might say, to contemplate the seemingly simple interaction of air with the curvature of an airplane wing, and that can orchestrate the phenomena of flight. Lift, born from the graceful interplay of pressure differentials, propels airplanes upwards, enabling them to defy gravity and soar among the clouds. Here's a fun fact for you about Bernoulli's principle. Bernoulli's principle extends its influence far beyond the realm of aviation, finding applications in diverse fields ranging from the design of high-performance race cars to the exploration of ocean currents and even development of life-saving medical devices.
You know, it's kind of funny that the only place where this wouldn't be useful information is in space, where it's a vacuum and there is no fluid.
Wow.
But even then, you got to get it out of the atmosphere, and to do that, you got to get it out of a fluid. So
there is no fluid.
There is no fluid in space.
There's no fluid in space. So you could never have a blob. I guess, but it would have to be a fixed shape. So things can't change shape in space.
No, you can. Water in space clings to itself. You know, it's surface tension, where you overpour a glass of water and it bubbles out of the top a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it does that.
That's weird.
A tiny little thing of water held together by its own surface tension.
Huh. Wow. Another fun fact. Okay, now we're going to talk about helicopter flight. Okay, in the enchanting realm of aviation, the four elemental forces of flight, lift, weight, thrust, and drag, reign supreme, dictating the graceful movements of both airplanes and helicopters.
That is until the Drag Nation attacked.
However, while these forces serve as the guiding principles for both aerial marvels, the dynamic interplay between them unfolds in distinctly different ways. So, unlike their fixed-wing counterparts, helicopters boast a unique design that sets them apart in the skies. At the heart of their aerial prowess lies the ingenious rotation of their wings, or rotor blades, which serve as the primary source of lift and thrust. The control surfaces of helicopters, embodied by their rotor blades, offer a multitude of possibilities for aerial maneuverability. By adjusting the pitch and the angle of these blades, Pilots wield unparalleled control over the helicopter's trajectory, allowing...
Oh, sorry. No.
What? Oh.
You weren't done. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Allowing for swift turns, agile ascents, and graceful descents.
Right. Truly the dragonflies and hummingbirds of man-made flying devices.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. One of the most mesmerizing capabilities of helicopters is their ability to hover effortlessly mid-air, defying the pull of gravity with an elegance, kind of like those dragonflies or hummingbirds you mentioned. The remarkable feat is made possible by the upward airflow generated by the rotating rotor blades, which delicately counterbalance the helicopter's weight, granting it freedom to ascend vertically into the boundless skies. Fun fact. Did you know that helicopters are capable of executing precise maneuvers such as hovering and vertical takeoffs thanks to the dynamic interplay between those rotor blades and the surrounding airflow? This versatility makes helicopters invaluable in a myriad of applications such as search and rescue missions or aerial photography.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but being able to be still in the air and also not needing an enormous runway to come down are big deals.
Mm-hmm.
You take them for granted because you don't need them every day. But the people who do need them every day.
Search and rescue, aerial photographers, and more.
and
Probably mountain rescue. Well, that's search and rescue, yeah.
And the people who don't have to go out and pave runways.
Yeah.
For helicopters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the evolution of the history of flight. Before the advent of airplanes, humanity soared through the skies in lighter-than-air craft, such as hot air balloons, pioneered by the Montgolfier.
Spell it.
Montgolfier.
That's probably Golfier.
Golfier. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Montgolfier brothers in 1783. The 19th century witnessed a flurry of experimentation in both lighter than air and heavier than aircraft, culminating in the pioneering flights of gliders that laid the groundwork for modern aviation. Okay, so did you catch which one came first?
You said that. Sorry, I got distracted by Montgolfier. Yeah.
So Montgolfier brothers was in 1783.
Yeah.
The gliders
Uh-huh.
is in 19th century.
Yeah. Oh, I thought. Oh, did you know? Did you? I thought you were gonna list a date for the hot air balloons, but
1783.
Oh.
Oh.
Right. Well, that's the 18th century.
Yes. Good.
So.
Good. So we'll have to reference that when we get back to our trivia questions.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Early pioneers of aviation. On December 17th, 1903, in the sandy dunes of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, two brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, etched their names into history by achieving the first powered flight in a self-propelled aircraft. From these humble beginnings, aviation underwent rapid advancements, with World War I marking the dawn of aerial combat and the utilization of aircraft for bombardment missions. Not very cozy or rainbow.
Yeah, why'd you start that sentence with the Wright brothers? Those guys are kind of cozy and rainbow.
I know. Well, I feel like they need a whole episode by themselves. Like we had a whole episode for Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Okay. So, following the conclusion of World War II, aviation entered a new era characterized by the advent of the jet-powered aircraft. Innovations in aviation technology propelled the development of commercial aviation, ushering in an era of transatlantic flights and global connectivity. So that's how me and Joe took a flight to Hawaii last month. Woohoo.
That's not transatlantic.
No, but it is commercial aviation.
That's trans-Pacific.
Today, jet-powered airliners crisscross the skies, bridging continents and bringing the world closer together. As we come to an end of our journey through the amazing world of flight, let's remember all the things we've learned. From how airplanes use air to stay up to how helicopters move so smoothly in the sky, it's been a fascinating adventure. Whether you dream of flying planes one day or just love learning about cool stuff, I hope you feel inspired by what we've explored together. So, as we finish up, keep looking at the sky and keep dreaming big. Remember, there's always more to discover and imagine out there. If you are a teacher looking for free classroom activities, check out our Teachers Pay Teachers store or our website for some free active listening guides. Help your students learn how to take notes. Or even if you're just, a casual listener and you thought, oh my gosh, that was so much information, I would love to make a timeline of everything that you discussed in this podcast. Well, guess what? You can with help on our website. We got worksheets for that. So you can check out, again, cozyrainbow.org. And if you have any questions or comments about this episode, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at cozyrainbownv@gmail.com. All right, everybody.
Thanks for listening.